And so how do you, especially with that, like you're not knowing the name, how do you get to know all these people? Because everybody who's came through since I've been here, everybody's been giving credit to Wise, James, and even these people that I looked up to were like, oh nah, Wise is putting me on. So it's like, how did you really like get to that level where one, you were seeing and you were able to recognize this talent so quickly and then really help it mature? Like, where does that come from?
Again, it's just human relationships. You know what I mean? Everything is about relationships for me, and relationships should be transformational before transactional. So I'm interested in human beings and what they're trying to achieve in life, what they're trying to be. What would you look like at 100%? What is your 100%? How do you see yourself at 100%? How can I help you get to that? You know what I mean?
I've been waiting for this one since I started.
That's what's up.
So you ready?
I'm ready when you're ready.
All right, so boom, welcome back to another episode of the Black Caliber Podcast. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend.
Wise Intelligent, for Righteous Teachers, RapSnack's Foundation. Right. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, thanks for coming on, man. One of the just pivotal man in the hip hop movement. But we're here right now for RapSnacks. So how did you get in here with James Lindsay and all these people to even become a part of?
Yeah, my background, music, of course, 90s pioneering hip hop group, socially conscious messaging in rap. We were rolling back in what's considered the golden era of hip hop. In my opinion, the greatest era of hip hop ever. You know what I mean? When the foundational work was being laid for hip hop to reach the heights that it's reached thus far. So, from that career in hip hop, in my hip hop network of associates and colleagues, I leveraged that, the respect that the group had, the name, and our mission. I leveraged that into community development, youth advocacy, and developing programs to build young people into to their fullest potential, man. So I've been in this space for 25 plus years, and around 96, I was introduced to James Lindsay by a mutual friend, his frat brother. They're both Kappas.
Mm-hmm.
So Tracy Bell, Kappa, Cheney University graduates. He introduced me to James when James had just launched the product. James was building a company. He was trying to get it out there, doing his thing. So I initially did a few commercials, couple of commercial spots for radio for James at the time, and we just clicked, we understood each other. We understood what each other's missions were. And James was just a good human being, And that's where we connected. We connected at a human level, outside of business, outside of monetization. Our relationship from the very beginning was a transformational relationship as opposed to a transactional relationship. So we've been locked in for 30 years, James and I,
So with that, how come there's no Wise Intelligent RapSnacks?
I'm not a chip guy. I'm not I'm not that guy. I'm not the Wheatie Box guy. I'm
the Wheatie Box.
Nah, my brand, what I represent, who I represent, I'm as an artist and a human being. In a lot of ways, I'm commercially defective. And that's my lane. I'm not with the that's just not my lane. It's not my space, not my lane. I'm more of a grassroots kind of person.
Grassroots. I can respect that. And so how do you, especially with that, like you're not knowing the main. How do you get to know all these people? Because everybody who's came through since I've been here, everybody's been giving credit to Wise, James, and even these people that I looked up to were like, oh nah, Wise is putting me on. So it's like, how did you really like get to that level where one, you were seeing and you were able to recognize this talent so quickly and then really help it mature? Like, where does that come from?
Again, it's just human relationships. You know what I mean? Everything is about relationships for me, and relationships should be transformational before transactional. So I'm interested in human beings and what they're trying to achieve in life, what they're trying to be. What would you look like at 100%? What is your 100%? How do you see yourself at 100%? How can I help you get to that? You know what I mean? Whatever's in my network, whatever I can do to assist that. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite book? You know what I mean? Just real shit. We talk about real shit with real people. I just like to know people, good people, real people. It's all about energy and vibes and frequencies for me. So at the end of the day, people that I rock with, people that recognize me and rock with me, it's a mutual exchange of good energy. So everybody that I've met in my journey, the people that I do have relationships with, that's what it was. It's human relationships. It's not like, we're trying to get a bag all the time and everybody's trying to get at some money. It's, how you doing? How the kids? How's the family? How's your mother? That's what it is.
That's great. And it's like, I love how genuine even your persona comes off. Like that's really the only thing you hear from it.
No doubt.
So out of the people that you brought here, do you feel like you made new connections and met new people
Yes.
here at this convention?
Absolutely. A lot of great people showed up, a lot of intelligent people, a lot of very smart people, people that can add value to anyone's life. Even the corporate presenters, the people presenting their businesses and organizations, they have so much value that can be applied, life lessons, business lessons that can be applied to your everyday life. So it's not always about the, whether I have a business or not, and I'm here and I'm listening, and I can't use none of this. I'm thinking, some people may think I can't use none of this. There's no need for me to be in this room because I don't have a business, but your life is a business, your life is a business. Your life is your first business. You're the CEO of your life, so all of the standard operating procedures and everything that they present and show you how to run logistics, you apply all of that to your life. So it was a bunch of people in the rooms that could give that type of information. It's like, you might think you don't need to use calculus in school. It's like, dude, they're teaching me calculus. When will I ever use this in the real world? Probably never, right? But in reality, just going through the process of learning how to do that high level math, it teaches you how to cognitively process life, right? How to organize things, how to create operating procedures, how to create an operation and inverse that operation if you need to undo it. You know what I mean? So it's applicable at the end of the day. It's all applicable. All learning is applicable in this life lesson. So it's a lot of great people in here that I met yourself. You know what I mean? I see you doing your thing. You're chasing it, and I wish you all the best. Whatever we can do to help you launch that thing off, get it where it needs to be. We right here.
I appreciate that. And I see that Wise intelligent because it's like the most extensive vocabulary out of all the ones I've had already.
Wow. Wow.
So also I noticed every time I've seen you, because I've met you a couple times, you're always wearing something that says like Wise Intelligent. Is that just so people know I'm Wise Intelligent? Or is that just you really promoting your self-brand? Because I've noticed that a lot of people and a lot of other people you're around do very similar things.
Yeah, it's a little of both. Wise is a lifestyle for me. It's a lifestyle. Wisdom-based lifestyle. Wisdom is the algorithm for me. Trying to make the wisest choice, the wisest decision every time. And being able to, discernment, judgment, being able to make clear, concise decisions. So wisdom is applied in everything that we do. We have to use wisdom, I believe. Knowledge is one thing, but wisdom is the application of knowledge. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you make a nuclear bomb with that knowledge and destroy things, it's like, you know what I mean? So it takes some level of wisdom to know that, yes, I have the intelligence to create a nuclear bomb, but I'm not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. That's wisdom, So it's a lifestyle for me. So the brand, the hats, the brand, it's something that I've been pushing slowly on the low. I'm not really going really hard with it because for me, again, it's organic for me. It's organic, merchandise, my website, you can buy hats, you can buy Wise apparel. But for me, it's so organic that, I have to let people come to it on their own. It's out there, you'll find it, you know what I mean? If you're looking for it, because it's frequencies and vibrations. So at the end of the day, I'm not pushing anybody to buy anything. I'm not overselling anything. Something that my brother Shabazz, the OG, said to me. He said, "Wise, you already know." He said, "People like to buy things, but they don't like to be sold things." Right? You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. That's the pocket that I'm in. I'm not a salesman by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a salesman. I'm not an Instagram influencer. None of that. You know what I mean? That's not my generation of affairs. So I'm a, you'll see it. Like people, like I sell merch from people seeing me with it. People be like, "Oh, I like that. Where can I copy that? Where you get that hat from?" I mean, I'll just give them the website. You go buy it. I mean, and that's it. It's not gonna be, a bunch of influencers, saying they wear my clothes but never read a book. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? My brand is for the people who would rather read the book than watch the movie. Take the stairs as opposed to the elevator. You know what I mean? Those people. So
no shortcuts.
I stay in that lane. Right.
Yeah. So speaking of books, what's your favorite book?
Wow, I don't think I have a favorite book because books are like life, man. Books are life. Growing up where I grew up, low income housing project, single mother, Trenton, New Jersey. We didn't have books around, and we didn't have access to experiences outside of our 7.5 square mile environment, right? So what we saw was what we were getting. We get the illicit activity, we get the violence, so it was tough. So books, my introduction to books at around age of 13, at my middle school I attended, I actually came across the autobiography of Malcolm X, a hardback, and I stole the book from the library.
Why are you gonna steal from the free place?
Right, exactly. So I read the introduction at the library. I sat down and read the introduction. I was like, "Yo, I'm taking this." I took the book, never brought it back. And I read that book. It was the first book I ever read cover to cover. And it sparked a lot. Changed my reasoning, gave me understanding, as to who I was as an individual and the community that I was embedded in. So that book launched me into a whole life of just reading and collecting books. So I have so many books. I'm a bibliophile easily, so authors. So Dr. Amos Wilson is one of my favorite authors. So he wrote the book, The Falsification of African Consciousness. I love that book. He wrote Black on Black Crime, the socioeconomic and political benefit of Black on Black crime to capitalism and white supremacy. So that was a great book, putting things in perspective. Menticide by Dr. Bobby Wright. So many books, man. I've read, of course, Reginald Lewis, Why Should White Men Have All the Fun by Reginald Lewis. read that book. It was a great book. James actually gave me that book back in '97. James gave me the book, and then I appeared on NBC News, Morning News, with Reginald Lewis' wife, and she signed my book for me. So I shelved that one because it was signed by his wife after he passed away. But you know, it's quite a few books, man. Quite a few books. Right now, I'm reading Life 3.0 about artificial intelligence and the what they're calling the transhuman project. You know, and how AI is about to disrupt everything. You know, so that's a good book so far. Man, I've read so many books in every category of life. You know, I've read books on everything from sustainability, ecology of organic living, off-grid living. I've read books. I've had books that I read about science, math, social studies. You know, I wrote a book. You know,
Yeah,
I wrote a book.
Actually,
You know?
I started reading your book, and that was the hardest book I've ever tried to read.
Wow.
You kept saying hegemony. I was sitting there like,
hegemonic,
and the thing is usually I be reading. It's cool. I've been reading books for a long time. I've always been an avid reader, but that one, hold up, what does this mean? But I understood it, and it was like, you know what, this is dope, and it was just like it was a different outlook, at least for me, on some of the social economic issues we had.
Yeah.
So that was dope. Dumbed Down Rapper. So y'all should definitely go get that.
No doubt.
If I was smart, I would have brought it so you could sign it.
For sure.
All right. Well, and as an OG, right, and somebody with this much wisdom, how do you feel about? I kind of already heard this answer, but still, how do you feel about the current state of hip hop? All right, as RapSnacks, and you're still promoting it. How do you feel, or where do you feel like it's going?
Yeah, you know, my position on hip hop and the state of hip hop right now, I feel that hip hop is exactly how it was in 1990 when I was in hip hop, you know, and it's as fresh, it's as vibrant, it's as innovative, it's as creative. And I say that from a perspective of, you know, not allowing mainstream media to dictate for me what hip hop is or what it is not, right? Mm-hmm. So if we're allowing mainstream media to dictate for us what hip hop is, then hip hop is 10 artists rotating 30 times a day, say it with the same messaging, right? Every female rapper is saying the same thing. Every male rapper is saying the exact same things. That's if we allow mainstream media to tell us what hip hop is, you know. But if we understand that hip hop is a culture that the mainstream media is not owner of, you know, then we know that there are other artists that are the complete opposite of those artists that are in the mainstream. You know, hip hop is not a commercial thing, although it's selling commercially. You know, it's organic. It's a cultural resource. You know, hip hop is a cultural resource of the Black community, you know, and rap is its mouthpiece, right? So we know hip hop is elements. You know, there's graffiti art, there's DJing, there's b-boying, you know, and there's rap, and rap is the mouthpiece, you know. So people think that rap is all that there is to hip hop, but hip hop, the cultural resource, you know, is a community thing, and rap is that part of it that allows the community to communicate with itself in a language that it understands, right? So with rap, urban youth, marginalized youth, impoverished youth, redlined youth, apartheided youth gain the ability to express themselves, to tell the world how they felt about the world. So basically, rap music gives us the ability to convey our interpretation of the world and our justified beliefs about it, right? I think we call that an epistemology, right? Epistemology, your interpretation of the world, your beliefs about it. So with rap, that's what rap is, you know, and therefore for me, it hasn't changed. Like, you know, there was a discussion recently about, I think Dr. Umar said Eminem can't be the greatest rapper. Right, and Dr. Umar is correct, in that because again, rap is a cultural resource of a particular community with a particular history and experience, a particular epistemology. So Eminem can't communicate my reality to me. You know, we don't come from the same struggle, right? So he can't really, you know, communicate with me. Eminem, for example, you know, cultural resources, culture is the vehicle through which a community is educated, right? So we educate, you know, through our cultural resources. Rap is one of those things, that platform. So, and a part of the complete education of a man is knowing who your enemy is, knowing what the threats are to the community, you know, and things of that nature. Eminem can't give me that. You know what I mean?
Can you repeat that?
So
no, you said being a man is
so a part of the complete education of a man is knowing who your enemy is. So Eminem can't give me that information no more than a public school with a European curriculum can give me that information, right?
That was a banger to me. That's why you said it twice. Like,
no doubt.
Complete education.
You know, that's actually a Marcus Garvey quote. You know, that's a Marcus Garvey quote. You know, and that's the thing. So, you know, when you look at the map, you know, I posted something a year or two ago, showing where all the top rap artists were streaming at in the United States. It was a color-coded map, and they showed each one of them. You know, Eminem, Drake, Migos, you know, all the artists that were at the top at that time, you know, where they were streaming. And ironically, Eminem was not streaming in any of the predominantly Black areas on the map, right? Because he doesn't resonate with us on a social level, on a spiritual level even, because of the shared history and experience of Black people. That's why it's difficult for Eminem to ever be the greatest rapper, because there's no way he can communicate that messaging from our history and experience. You know, and that's what rap is.
All right. And who is Wise Intelligent?
Man, I'm a father, man. I'm a husband. I'm a grandfather now, you know. And
yeah, beautiful Black man.
You know, so that's who I am, man. That's who I am. I'm a community advocate. I'm Black as fuck. I'm Black as fuck. You know what I mean? No disrespect to anyone else, but if you take it as disrespect, it's disrespect. You know, this is what it is. You know, but yeah, man, that's who I am, man. I'm just an expanding and contracting human being. You know, I'm learning, I'm unlearning, I'm relearning. You know, I'm programming myself. You know, like everybody else, you know, I grew up with programs. You know, programs that my parents put in my head, programs that the school system put in my head, programs that my community put in my head, programs from my peers. You know, so I had those programs, you know, and I had to learn that I was programmed. I had to become aware that I was indoctrinated, right? So when you become aware of the program, then you can deprogram and then reprogram, you know? So you want to be the coder in your life. So I'm my own life coder. That's who Wise Intelligent is. I'm coding my own life. I'm writing the program, I'm writing the code for my own life, you know, and for the society that I want to see.
You know, I can relate to that because I remember my uncle said, he had told me one time, because I was stressing, because I couldn't pay for something, and I had to ask for help. And he was like, just because it's traditional doesn't mean it's correct.
Absolutely.
And the way he said it, because where we were at, it was like the light was down, he was sitting back, and he leaned up and was like, he said that, and that stuck with me for a while. And after that, I kind of changed my outlook and the way I moved, because I feel like he was 100% correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like the amount of things, and especially now, I feel like a lot of people aren't raising their kids. You know, your phone's raising them. The
Absolutely.
Teacher, your students, all these other things are raising. So
exactly.
Yeah, like the importance on really focusing and unlearning a lot of these things that we just put into you.
Absolutely. That's key. That's key.
All right, and before we close out, is there anything that you would just want anybody who's watching this to know? Inspiration or lessons or...
Yeah, I mean, follow the need, man. Follow the need. You know, wherever there's a need, you know, there's life, there's pathways. I mean, you'll never be without a job. You'll never be without a career pathway if you follow the need. You know, and focus on how you can add value to other people's lives, and not always how they can add value to yours. So focusing on the need will help you do that more efficiently. You know, so yeah, I would say focus on the need.
All right, perfect. And with that, can I just get you to say, this is the Black Caliber Podcast?
Hey, yo, Wise Intelligent, you checking out the Black Caliber Podcast. Peace.
I love it. The switch, too. Oh, man. Thank you so much.
Yo, thank you for